All right, second edition. We back. All right, facing the culture, a little sports seg, sports time, sports talk. Got Mean with us again, Mr. McCray, and I got Mr. Xavier with us. All right, Mr. Hidalgo. All right, we're here to tackle some topics. Since our last one over the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot going on, man. A lot in the sports world. It's crazy. Like we start talking about stuff and boom, you know, shit just changes. One of the big changes, all right, the latest acquisition that has the basketball world buzzing is this James Harden to the Nets. All right, the Nets have acquired James Harden. Damn it. You know, that's not good news for my Heat, to be quite real. But, you know, it looks like another super team has been created. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. But with that super team, we got somebody missing from action. Somebody straight MIA. And he's been the talk of a lot of talk shows and sports segments. And that is Mr. Kyrie Irving himself. Been MIA for what, since January 5th?
Pretty much. Since the new year, pretty much.
New Year's. I mean, January 5th, we're gonna give him his couple of days in. Been gone for about 2 weeks, just MIA. Zay, how you feel about Kyrie Irving and just his absence? And what does it say about, I guess, Kyrie and maybe the Nets' future?
Well, I just want to start off by saying before I go into my Kyrie point that I respect Kyrie Irving for sure as a basketball player. Can't deny his talent, what he brings to the floor. He's a wizard with the ball, undeniable. I think Kyrie does a lot of great things in the community that doesn't always get talked about in the media because it's not as like spicy or as captivating as what maybe the not so great things I guess that he does. But he does a lot of great things for the community. Just today, he bought George Floyd's family a home. You know, he paid salary for WNBA players. So I think Kyrie Irving. Just want to say first thing, I think Kyrie Irving's a good dude. He's a good dude. I don't think he has ill will in his heart. But that I will say about Kyrie is I don't always agree about how he does things sometimes, you know. Just like the 2-week hiatus, I guess, due to personal reasons. I'm not saying everyone deserves, you know, a personal day, but I think Kyrie gets away with certain things that not all players could do, especially just, you know, taking a 2-week hiatus in the middle of the season. He's obviously a star player, but not even star players tend to do what he does, you know, like LeBron's still on the floor, KD's still on the floor, etc. So I guess the only thing I could criticize Kyrie is not him as a man, but how are his teammates looking at him? Because, you know, his teammates, you know, they got to go to practice every day. They got to play these games every day. And I know Kyrie's affected about what's going on, you know, socially in the world, but I'm sure there's a lot of athletes that feel that way as well, you know, that are affected by what's going on in the world socially, racially, police brutality. I'm sure they feel that in their heart as well, where they're still out there, you know, performing and doing their job as well, while also trying to spread that social change. You know, I think both could be done. I think you could play basketball and make a change, you know. So I just think Kyrie, that's the only thing I'll criticize Kyrie a little bit, you know, like I get what he's doing. I just think there's better ways of doing it. So that is kind of.
And what about the Nets' future with Kyrie? And just, do you think it is going to fit? Do you think it's going to work? Do you think there might be trading him? How do you feel about just the future?
I think Kyrie has to be a part of it for it to work. I think undeniably, if the Nets have that chemistry, if there's really no outside drama, I think the Nets should be the favorite to win the championship just off pure, on paper, pure domination, pure talent. You know, KD could give you 30 every night, Harden, Kyrie. I do question, though, kind of there's only one basketball. You know, Kyrie needs the ball, Harden needs the ball, KD needs the ball. But great players find a way to, you know, to work around that. But they are I think Harden and Kyrie especially are very ball dominant. You know, KD can probably play a little bit off the ball a little more than they can. He's kind of used to it playing off Steph and Clay. But Steph and Clay played off the ball. You know, Clay moved without the ball. He really, like, got himself open by having the ball in his hands. Same thing with Steph. I think this is different. You know, Kyrie needs the ball. Harden needs the ball. So I think that's the only thing. The only thing that can stop them, I think, are little things like that. You know, but I think if they play up to their potential, I think they should be the favorites to win the championship, even over the Lakers in the West. So that's kind of high.
McCray, talk to me about Kyrie, man. That's your boy. What's up with him?
Kyrie really just his own man, bro. I mean, the way he go about just handling his business, his personality, the way it said that, he affects the locker room in a negative way. I can see how that could be the case because when you just a person like him, he don't really care about what people think or feel. He has his kind of way of thinking and his way of just going about just living his life or kind of just getting just doing his thing. He's not a team. I don't think he's a team first type of person because he's caught up in just how he is and how he wants to live his life or kind of get his points across and he wants his way. I feel like with a lot of things, and that definitely can get in the way, or he can rub people the wrong way in terms of making you feel like he believes he's beneath the team. I do think he loves the game. I think he enjoys playing the game, but he loves himself more. And I think that he believes that just him being able to freely kind of live or freely express himself or his motives kind of or his wants kind of being able to get his way is, I mean, and not really care about outsiders. I feel like that kind of overshadows his will and love for the game.
I hear you, and that's what a lot of people. I think a lot of people probably feel similar. I think even Xavier at one point, even though he's kind of talking different right now, he felt that way at one point as well, because he knew I was gonna go in on him. Because I love Kyrie, I really do, and not just because he's a Duke Blue Devil. Not even because I like Kyrie. I didn't even really like Kyrie like that before, but I do think before I even get into it, let me preface and just say this does depend on Kyrie's intention. And I can understand if some people maybe question his intent. Like, what is Kyrie's intent? What's his purpose for this? Some people might question that. And if they question that, I do think it's a fair question. However, I do feel like Kyrie has made his intentions clear. Now, if they're genuine, that's a different story, but he's made it clear. There was one player in particular who did not want to restart the bubble. That was Kyrie Irving. There was other players. Avery Bradley was included. You had some other players on the boat. But Kyrie Irving was very, very vocal about not wanting to restart the season at the bubble. Very clear. Some people even questioned then, like, oh, he just don't want LeBron to win. He's just mad because he's not in the playoffs. Talking all that, okay. Kyrie was saying, I don't want to play because of this country's predicament. Fast forward, 5 months later, the NBA started this season very abruptly. The NBA didn't ask the players when they wanted to start the season, or didn't really take in consideration when they should start the season based on the players and what this country was going through. And if we also being real, the NBA bubble didn't do nothing for this country. It didn't do nothing. They were saying that, playing the game is going to be more important than not playing the game. Because if you play the game, you're going to be spreading awareness. We're going to have things on the back of the jersey. We're going to have things on the court. Really didn't do nothing. And we kind of see it didn't do nothing because we see what just happened in the Capitol building. Like nothing's changing in this country. The basketball, that did not change anything. Maybe it would have changed things if they didn't play. So I'm just thinking of what Kyrie's attention is, and you see what's going on still in this world. I just think Kyrie's, I know I'm probably going to sound crazy to some people, but usually people who are woke are crazy. They sound crazy. And I think he feels like there's a bigger purpose in basketball. Life is more than basketball. You can say he doesn't love the game, but I think he loves the game. I just think he's at a point in his life where he thinks there's more than just basketball. And he's kind of fighting the establishment. He's fighting the establishment. He's fighting authority. He's fighting this establishment that was built on a lot of black brothers' back with playing basketball. He's fighting that. He's taking everything into question. He's questioning that. And I love that shit. I'll be quite honest with you. I love it and I respect it. Because I think that's what his intentions are. And you can't tell him what to do because who can you tell what to do? Like in this life, we take other people's things to heart too much, or we always living for somebody else. Well, I just feel like Kyrie's standing up and living on his own terms. And he just got fined. You know, his salary was forfeited from the games he missed. So I really think there should be no discussion. It shouldn't be an issue right now. He's not getting paid. So what you mad for? Why is everybody mad for? He's not getting paid. He's not incoming money. He's not playing. He's not getting paid. Just like if you didn't show up to work, you wouldn't get paid. All right. This is his job. At times when you have a job, you might not need a break. You might not need to take some time off for yourself. But just because he's in this spotlight now is focused on him and he gets a bad rep. But I think the bad rep is very unfair. They're gonna say, oh, he was at a party, he was at a sister's birthday party. And maybe family's more important than basketball to him. Just bought George Floyd's family a house. That's a great thing to do, in my opinion. It's a beautiful thing to do. Right? He's going on meetings with the mayor. Right? He's more focused on, and I can understand, okay, well, the teammates feel some type of way, but I'm pretty sure when Kyrie get back on that court, he's going to bust ass. He's going to be a killer like he's always a killer. There's no denying his talent, and there's no denying his championship pedigree. If it wasn't for Kyrie, Bron wouldn't have a ring, if we're being quite honest. So I don't know how we questioning his basketball side of things. He's going to get it done. But obviously, January 5th, if I'm not mistaken, that was the day of the Capitol building storming. And that was a very eye-opening time for a lot of Americans.
It was the 6th.
It was the 6th. All right, so I think his 5th was his last game. Things happened on the 6th. Ever since the 6th, Kyrie's been MIA. But maybe that was an eye-opening time for him. Maybe the privilege that we always talk about was on full display. So how come he doesn't have the privilege to take 2 weeks off of work and try to go make some changes when he already told you that's what he wanted to do when the bubble was starting? I think he gets a bad rep, and I think he gets a bad rep because he's not speaking to the media. So the media, since they're feeling some type of way, they want to create these narratives of Kyrie. They want to talk about Kyrie. They want to make Kyrie a villain. Well, I see it a little differently, and I like that the brother's thinking for himself, thinking independently. All right? Some people can say it's selfish, okay, but buying George Floyd's family a house isn't selfish. You know, going to your sister's birthday party, celebrating her life, that isn't really selfish. You know, it's selfish to who it wants to be selfish with. And that's how I really feel about Kyrie. If y'all want to go ahead and rebuttal, I'm ready. But, you know, I feel like Zay wanted to rebuttal.
No, I just want to so you wholeheartedly disagree with what Stephen A. Smith said a week ago, right? That Kyrie should just
retire.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with Stephen A. Smith. And I respect Stephen A. Smith to an extent, but I do think Stephen A. has a history of kind of pleasing the establishment, always following guidelines with what his bosses say in a sense. And so that's why, I disagree. I'll just say that. I definitely disagree with him. Why should he retire for? Because he took 2 weeks off? He should retire?
I will say this. When you say fighting the establishment, do you mean the league, or do you mean like what do you mean by establishment?
I think the league is a direct representation of kind of like the establishment that goes on in this country in general. You got higher ups that try to control.
Huh?
a lot of things in a sense.
I will
Not
say
saying
this
the
though.
NBA is not a great league. I'm just saying, like, I think it could be a direct representation.
I will say that, especially over the last, I'll say 5 or 6 years or so. The NBA, and I'm not defending the big corporations because I get how that is business. But I feel like the NBA has done. I mean, I'm not sure if it's genuine. I'm not sure if it's real because we're not in those meetings. We're not those people. But I feel like they've at least tried to make an effort to give their players kind of a platform to speak out on issues, on social justice issues. They've never had really issues of players protesting during games, before games, whether it's during the anthem or after the anthem compared to kind of what the NFL did with Kaepernick. I don't necessarily think Kyrie is being, blackballed for his way of thinking or for how he feels in his heart.
But I didn't say – I don't necessarily – I agree. I don't think it's from the NBA. I think the NBA, like I said, is a great league, does a great job of that. But he is being blackballed by the media. Media and the NBA is separate.
The media is an evil machine, baby. The media does what the media does.
Yeah. For sure. But the media controls a lot. I think if 2020 taught us something, if this presidential election taught us something, if this recent history taught us something, it is how powerful, even past history, man. You had like yellow journalism. You had there's always been propaganda and stuff like that. But
Boston.
Right. But media is very powerful, man. Media is very, very powerful. They control a lot. They could move a lot. Media kind of has the power to shift society's focus, or they can shift society's whole train of thought from what they put on. Like, media is very, very powerful.
I think the media has always misconstrued athletes, especially athletes of color, when they do certain things. So I think Kyrie's just another athlete of color who's trying to get a point across, which the media doesn't necessarily understand because they come from different, let's just say, backgrounds. I guess I don't think they relate to what he's doing.
I just don't. I think they do. I think they do understand what he's doing. I think that's why they don't like it. I think when you see somebody going against the establishment, and I really think Kyrie's a very intelligent brother. And I told you, we talked about this before, but historically, Duke has that reputation for not recruiting a certain athlete. Right? They don't recruit a certain type of athlete from, they recruit a certain type of athlete. And I'm just saying, with that though, Kyrie's a very smart brother. All right. And he's just using it in a different way than what most people are accustomed to.
It would have been going against the establishment if he didn't go Duke, low key.
It would, but that's what I'm saying. I think he's grown into this. I think Kyrie has developed into this. I think 2020 was a year of clarity, and some people are showing their true colors one way or the other. So, yes, I understand what you're saying. Like, he would have went against the grain, but he also was an intelligent brother, and he was one and done. And he was going to what was going to make the best opportunity for him to make the league, showcase his talent, and it fit him. I think, it fit him. And I do think Duke has changed from that perception in a sense anyway. But now with Kyrie, I guess moving on from like the personal things, you already kind of said like basketball related, how you felt. McCray, how do you feel like basketball wise? How do you feel about the Nets with this new super team that they're forming?
I think that, obviously you got 3, I think, top 5 scorers and just 3 top 10 players in general. I think they're all smart players, but I don't think it'll work because of Kyrie and Harden. Now, I saw Harden and KD play the other night, and they look good together. You got with a primary, Harden and Kyrie both, primary ball handlers. They really need the ball. I think Kevin could do most of the off-ball stuff, but I think that if they could find a way to kind of, trade off each other, you have your turn, I have my turn, and when it's your turn to play off-ball, you play off-ball, and they just switch up. I think that they could do some things, but I think ultimately that could be the issue. Just them kind of figuring out, especially how to close out games, and maybe sometimes over I think overpassing when they don't need to, if that makes sense.
Right.
Instead of, when you
Right.
when
That comes with chemistry too. Sometimes that can happen because it's not good chemistry, But I know what you mean, like that yeah. It don't make sense how they move.
Yeah. And I just don't. I think because that might be an issue. You got the ball might be still too much sometimes because you doing too much ISO. But at the same time, you gotta account for those other guys. If you got Kyrie ISOing, you can't just leave James Harden and wide open. You can't just leave Kevin. You can't double team because you can't leave James Harden by himself. You feel me? You can't leave Kevin by himself. So because of that, it's kind of like you can't go one way about it and say, oh, it'll fail, because it's only one ball, or you can't say it'll be good because there are three great players.
Right.
I'll go more along the lines of it won't work out though because they are isolation players pretty much that kind of need the ball.
Zay, what's your final prediction? Like, I just want your prediction. What are they going to the ship and are they winning the ship? Nets, yes or no?
The Brooklyn Nets will make the finals in the East.
Will they win the finals?
They're going to lose the first year.
Okay, so they're going to make the finals but lose. I have mixed feelings. First of all, not mixed feelings on the team, but I have I'm not, even though I might be on the younger generation, I'm not with the super team shit. I don't like it. It rubs me wrong way. Okay, I do, and not that they care. Hey, I just, I look down on it to an extent. Right now, this is a monster team, and they coming for Bron's soul. They coming for LeBron James' soul, and they coming to ruin what he thought he was finna, keep up with. You know what I'm saying? They back to back. They finna come ruin that legacy. All right. Now, okay. I understand all the concerns. Like you guys, I feel y'all. But I think and another reservation I have is like the year. It's a shorter year. They have less games to get that chemistry together. They already traded they didn't start at the beginning of the season this way. They're already kind of 9-10 games in. But when you got 3 top 10 players, I don't remember 3 top 10 players ever not making the finals. All right. And on top of that, when I look back at the Heat that first year, right, when we lost our first year, I think Brooklyn's team is better outside of that than the Heat's team was outside of that. The Heat team had what? Joel Anthony starting at center?
The Warden, bro. Have some respect.
Joel Anthony, come on, bro. DeAndre Jordan is light years ahead of.
We had Zadrunas Ilgauskas.
He was washed. He was washed.
Thomas, right?
He was washed. Jordan's better than both of them boys, man. I'm keeping the G.
The shell though too. I mean, DeAndre's not who he was in LA.
I understand, but he's better than Ilgauskas and Joel Anthony. He's better than Ilgauskas and Joel Anthony. You had Carlos Arroyo, Eddie House. I think Miller got hurt that year.
Mike, they get hurt.
That the surrounding team was pretty weak for the Heat. Chalmers, okay, all right. Yeah, he was respectable, but I think there could be a Chalmers on the Nets. You got Joe Harris. Joe Harris is a better shooter.
Joe Harris, yeah.
Joe Harris is a better shooter than them boys.
We had a young UD though, prime UD.
No, he wasn't prime UD. Don't do that. No, he wasn't. No,
he started the break.
He wasn't prime, bro. Don't do that. He was not prime. When did UD come out of college, eh?
03, I think.
I think it was a little earlier than that.
02? Almost.
Maybe 2000.
I don't like they supporting cast all that well though, to be honest. I like Joe Harris and I like Jordan, but
I like Brown. I like Bruce Brown. I like Brown.
I will say this though. Quick question.
I'm just saying, I think their supporting cast is better than what the Heat had that first year.
No, David, you just named Bruce Brown and you named DeAndre Jordan. That's all you named.
DeAndre Jordan, Bruce Brown, Joe Harris. To me, that's better than Eddie House, Carlos Arroyo, and Joel Anthony.
Mike Miller was playing though. Mike Miller's better than.
He was hurt. He was hurt, bro. He was not in that playoff run.
He was in that playoff run. He started. He was in the finals. I remember. He was on 100%, but he was playing.
I like Nets, man. I see it.
Good question though. LeBron beats this Nets team in the finals. Let's say he beats them. He beats KD, Harden, and Durant. I mean, KD, Harden, Kyrie. Is he the GOAT?
To me, he's still not the GOAT, but it's a discussion. It's legit. You can go either way with it.
He might be the GOAT, bro. 73.
That's what I'm saying. I give respect. Like, he could be talked about now as a GOAT, as the GOAT.
He might,
and I can't get mad when somebody talks about it.
Especially what year is this?
He's in the conversation for sure. Like, if he wins this year, it's neck and neck with MJ. They right here.
Yeah, that'd be what, number 5?
And I can't disrespect Bron. I gotta give Bron. I'll never say another bad word about Bron. And he would have made up for Dallas 2011 completely.
Yeah.
Is that enough respect for you?
Should have 6 if he wins that, but whatever. All right.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, that's a little bit of NBA talk. We'll be checking in. Of course, this is gonna be the topic of conversation probably for the rest of the damn year. Kyrie still ain't played yet. Even tonight he hasn't played. So he'll get back on though. And in 2 weeks we'll check back in on it. Moving on to the football world, we've been having a lot going on in football. It's the